Good evening. Welcome to another live Facebook every Wednesday that we do here with another interesting topic. And we do look into the US side, we do look at some of the Bursa Malaysia side, and definitely tonight we will be touching on the Bursa KLCI. So for tonight, it's about making better decision, right? How do you make better decision? By at least having some sort of a framework in your trading or in your analysis. Because why is Bursa KL reversing to the upside? And that's what we are here tonight to study some of the indicators or evidence that support this market that will reverse to the upside. I do hope that many of you will share the same kind of enthusiasm as I have right now for this market to break to the upside. And of course, you don't want the market to move up first. You want to have all the precursor of the evidence. So let's take a look at how high will the KLCI Bursa go from here onwards. It hasn't gone up yet, that's for sure, but we want to explore how it's able to go up. Now, thank you for coming. If you like tonight's topic and you think can benefit, give me a thumbs up in here as we will continue to give you good information sharing in here. So tonight, let's look at the Bursa KLCI reversing upside. We believe it will do so, and looking for sign of strength. What are those signs of strength to tell us this market will continue to rise up in here? And that's some of the principles we will cover in the part of the market stages volume analysis, and also look into the recent global sell-off, which I did cover last Wednesday. If you have not, go over and watch that live Facebook. They'll have all the recording that I have on our YouTube, and then also review some of our earlier expert opinion. How high can this market go? All right, and then finally, end with a summary in here. So for the next 35 to 40 minutes, and I do hope that many of you would have difficult question for me, okay, the difficult question for me, and then I will look into able to answer you all. That will be a really more promising, I suppose, sharing into some of the issues that you have. But let's look at what is the emotion that we see right at the market right now. Some of you may not be able to see it, but how do you feel the emotion is? Do you feel the greed, or do you feel there is fear? Right? What are the two emotions that you're seeing right now in here? The fear, or the greed, or uncertainty? Right? This is usually what I get, and of course, those of you who are with us tonight, I do hope that you're able to pencil in your emotion, how you're feeling about the market on the given comment in here, just to make things more interesting and enjoyable for everybody. Give me what your thought is, and I'm happy to say that. And if you're one of our local supporter, which is always usually come, do give me a shout out where you're listening from and who you are. So going back to the emotion of the market that we have tonight, definitely we are in between the fear and the greed, right? The greed time is, you'll be looking at, hey, am I, so let's take a look at where we are. So the greed side is, I don't want to miss out, okay? What we call fear of missing out, that's okay, fear of missing out, which is one of the biggest fear and continue to drive the market. Okay, let me just make this bigger a bit, then it's easier to see. Then you have the greed. Okay, all right, good morning, good evening, Nora, thank you for coming. And then what do we have? Fear. Okay, what is the compounding fear that we get most of that? The greed is always coming from the fear of missing out. So that's the greed part that is coming out. And then the fear is what? Right? Fear of losing money, and also fear of missing out too. Okay, so this greed and fear intertwine in many of the decisions that we have and our people. And of course, being a good investor, being a rational trader, it's also important. We want to see what is on the table, what is the market showing us right now. You know, what's the market showing now? How do I look at the chart? And definitely that will definitely help you a lot more going forward. All right, so the things that we want to look at is what? That's right, we want to look at the market stages. As I said before, many of you may already be very familiar with this, but it's important that we go through this again. So we have what we call this stage 1. Okay, so stage 1, right, this is where we are. Maybe I'll just make it bigger, then it's easier to see for everybody. Right, so we are in the stage 1, okay, which is what we call accumulation. Okay, accumulation, where the market seems to be going up. Then we go to a next stage, the market seems to be going up like this. Okay, then we have what we call the stage 2, okay, which is what we call markup. All right, as the market mark up, generally on no news to good news, and then finally we hit a place where a lot of good news. That's where the market will start to distribute. Okay, that will be in stage 3. Okay, so these are the principle of the volume spread analysis as I go in and out. And what we want to detect in between in these market stages is the volume distribution. Okay, the volume distribution in here, right? So we want to see those volume, and then finally when the market marks down like this, that we get, this is what we call stage 4. Okay, stage 4, and this is what we call mark down. So this, and then it goes back into a stage 1 again. Okay, so this is always ongoing cycle, whether you see it on a 5-minute chart, whether you see it on a 10-minute chart, on the daily chart, the circle continue. But because of the market volatility that we constantly get in it, it's very difficult for many of the beginner or some of you who just join us to be able to picture is. So what we have done is to show you a reasonable market in here, and let me just turn this thing off and show you how would the market look like. Okay, so this is where we have, so the best time to be buying is at the stage 1 going to stage 2. So this is where we want to be in, right? So you can see from here, this is where we want to be buying here. Okay, and this is the area where we want to sell at the distribution. Now the difficulty is knowing these steps. So one of the things that we do consistently to able to follow it, right? Let me just go back to, okay, just get this. Let me just go previously. Yep, open back, is to have the green pentagon. So this is where we have the green pentagon. Okay, and usually when the markets fall down here, this is where we get the red pentagon. All right, so this is how in theory we want our pentagon to able to do. So we want to get in just at the green pentagon when we move from stage 1 to stage 2. Just remember, stage 1 going to stage 2, stage 3 going to stage 4. That's where the red pentagon is. So turning this off, switching back here, and this is how we look at. We're looking for a markup, we are looking for a distribution. So importantly to note from here, okay, is the volume. So at this point, we want to see high volume. Okay, we want to see high volume here. Okay, and this will be generally lower and then follow higher. Here will be generally the highest point, right? And here also very high too. So the volume here has to be significantly high, and when the market break down, it will just be high. As it come down, be lower. So in between this part where you see lower volume, right, that is actually a good sign. And on the left hand side, usually volumes are like this. They're not too high, they'll be alternating high and low, but this green pentagon is what we want to be looking at. So when we look at some of the charts we're going to be talking about, when I'm going to share with you, these are very important principle. So the principle I want to talk about is the VSA market stages. So make sure you go through this, and then you're able to understand what I meant from here onwards. So pain point again, your trading strategy. Let's talk about your trading strategy. Is your trading strategy still effective? Right? Are you using something like the market stages? If you are, I do believe the strategy that we talk about is still in place. So next question is, how do you deal with the inconsistent profit in the market? Do you have a steady trading plan? Now, last week I talked about SOP. What is your standard? Oh, sorry. I talked about that in the member session. Standard operating procedure. What is the standard procedure to taking profit? What is the standard procedure to cutting loss? Or do you have a standard operating procedure? Just like if you make your nasi lemak or you make your Maggi mee goreng or you cook, you must have a SOP. Okay, the sooner you deal with having a SOP, the better. That way you can get rid of all the emotional stress so far, because if you don't have your SOP, you tend to panic and then you make mistakes like it. It's normal to cut loss, as I said before, but having a SOP will definitely deal with that. Do I say this makes sense? If I say it, give me a thumbs up, okay? Because the whole point of coming tonight is to reduce the emotional stress as the market go higher. Yeah, we market go up, we'll make money, we also lose money. But having a SOP to deal with it is very important. And for our members who is listening, I'm happy to review some of your own SOP, because after a while you have joined us through our VSA 360 or even listening to my breakfast show. I'm sure in the back of your head, you will start to develop many of your own SOP, right, in dealing with the market. When the market have a run, when the market were to fall back, right, who can I turn on? Then point number 4 is that adjusting your trading strategy. Now, once you have that SOP that you have, can you adjust it? Definitely sure. For example, if the market were to go a bit higher, right now you think that the market can go a bit higher, then you can adjust your profit taking to take a bit more, for example. Yeah. And if the market's not doing too well and it's a sideways market, and your SOP, what would your SOP say? Can your SOP cater to, hey, maybe I can stay out of the market? Those are the things that you want to adjust to. Or simply, maybe I may not want to trade a shorter term. I will trade a longer term, or maybe I trade an even shorter term to reduce some emotional stress, or maybe not even carrying my trade more than a week. So what would you say to that? So that's partly what we want to talk about, the SOP. Having the principle, which we talk about the VSA market stages, is important. But if you don't have SOP, then anything comes, you tend to react into the market, and reacting to the market, it's definitely a no-no. Why? Because it's going to produce a lot of emotional stress, and when your emotional stress are there, and then when the market start to go up, then you have this, what we call the emotion of the market. Then the FOMO will come in, fear of missing out, and then you also have the greed, right? Because you want to get in here. Now that's in sense the kind of emotion that really falls back to all of us. So what we do in Trade VSA is our Pentagon Guider, and also the VSA 360 dashboard. Many of you who are very familiar with it, with our members in here, and our Pentagon Guider has been leading some of our VSA trader and members into following the market better. Now, last Wednesday I talked about wicks, right? Wicks has been the fear index that we've seen so far, and this Jim Cramer in the CNBC made money. I would say when the wicks is high, it's time to buy. When the wicks is low, look out for below. So if you look back in terms of the history, and every time when we have this big major where the market hits the what level here, right? The 70 level, then there's another one, the 50 levels, okay? So last week, the market actually hit 65, okay? So that is where we see the market hit the greatest fear of all. Everybody suddenly at the headline was talking about recession, recession, recession. Then this week, no more recession. You notice what? Okay, so what can we do as trader, right? We use history, we use this kind of indicator, or at least follow some macroeconomics in here to pair in together with the VSA to give us where the market likely to be. We don't be so buta or simply hantam. Okay, so this level in here averaging is about 40. All right, every time we hit 40, it's time to buy. Okay, so this is where we are. So if you go back to where the market is, And this week, right, we did hit 60. You can see here, we hit 60. So let's take a look at where the market is right now on the wicks. You can see, switch to a weekly chart here. You can see daily chart. And it did hit 40 also, right? It went as high as 65 on that day, but it hit close up at 40. All right. So based on that, doesn't that tell you 40 is actually a good buying point? And if you go back as far back that we have, this was also at 31. Yeah, the last round we hit 34, 35. Ngam there lah, March. Okay, the bigger one was October 22nd before the major pickup. So you can see another one October, another one in April, and then we have another one in August time frame. So this August one fell in place as we saw many of the technology stock something go higher. Okay, so keep in mind the wicks is very important. So those of you who want to know how extensive the US market can go, and that will correlate to our Bursa KLCI. Now let's take a look at how long when we saw the global sell-off. Okay, the global sell-off that we had started on August 4th. So it took 14 days from the peak. The market hit 1637, come down, you can see here, which is 14 days or 10 bars. Okay, 14 days or 10 bars. Let me just erase this here. Okay, here is the one, 14 days or 10 bar, the market went down. Then immediately reverse up. It also took 14 days. 14 days or so, reverse back up. Okay, very fast. Okay, so there won't, yes, the global sell-off intentionally is a washout. It was a washout. So it's important that, as I said before, early on in the Telegram chat room for the members, I believe this was a washout. Okay, the market will rifle back, and yet it did. So you can see how do we see some similarity. So this is the FKLI. Okay, this is the FKLI, and then of course the big brother is the Nasdaq. So we look at the Nasdaq, and you can see very similar in here. The picture paints the same thing. So on the way down, the market actually loses 13 bars, which is a 10%, right? And since then, the market has gone back up to 10%. Took almost 12 days to go. So very, very similar too. Of course, that's why I think Nasdaq has more room to go back up. The question now remains the 21,000. Okay, the 21,000, whether it can break back up again. Then we still got good months to come. We have the month of September, the month of October, then November. Okay, so those things I already mentioned to you all before. What are the things you want to watch out for? But of course, if you have the VSA 360, you can always go back to the KLSE VSA 360 seasonality and watch out for that. Okay, now earlier this year on the 10th of January, I talked about some market forecast, beginning of 10th of January, which is about maybe 7 to 8 months ago, and what can you do about it? And of course, many of you, our members who already follow us and been trading with us, would have done very, very well. Congratulations to you to able to use a system like VSA to able to go in. So here I want to review back the calendar event that I talked about in the 10th of January 2024. All right, so the first one was the Taiwan election, right? Many times they were saying that Taiwan election will be impacted and such a Taiwan, but Taiwan also made good progress with it in here. Okay, Chinese New Year, we have a Bursa rally in here. We did talk about the interest rate cut, right, which was the earliest was April, May, but it's not cutting. Finally, September baru datang, which is 4-month delay. Okay, then we have sell in May, which generally has been a seasonal in here, but we all know in May the market actually moved higher, and because of the May moving higher, June moving higher, then end of July we got a sell-off plus the August sell-off that we have. If you have a May sell-off, then this August won't be a global sell down, so it took part of it. Okay, usually when you have sell in May, then you will probably come back in November. Then we have the constant recession call, doom and gloom. The whole year we have, right? When we had the August sell-off in here, you can check many of the newspaper out there, recession. This week the market go up, nobody talk about recession. And going forward, same thing juga lah. Kalau September there's some sell-off, or October got sell-off, they will talk about recession in here, okay? And then we have the November 6th, which is the US president election, which is still ongoing. The 2024 Democratic Convention, National Convention is ongoing right now in Chicago. So this is also putting a bit of upside into the market again regarding to the policies, which is released by the campaign votes, Harris campaign. We want to see what kind of in here. But for a start, there were some news about corporate tax will be increased from 21 to 28% to make up for some of the budget that will be put in by President Harris should she win in this coming November. So this will provide the backdrop of the market rallying going into the thing. So been pretty much solid and right on the spot. And again, let's look back into the Madani government. Beginning this year, what was some of the medium term? And remember, in 10th of January, right, not many would know that our KLCI market went up by double-digit figure, right? So the only things that is really pressing on this is the Madani economy, top 30th in here. But you do notice over the last 2 months, Prime Minister, the 10th Prime Minister, Datuk Sri Anwar, talk about joining BRICS. And right now he is in India, right, striking some deal, and which is actually a very, very positive things. Yeah, guess what? If you can't sell to the European Union because of the palm oil, the restriction that have been given, BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, and China has two of the largest population in the world were able to buy some of our palm oil and some of our natural resources in here. So these are some of the soft economic macro that been targeted out in here. But at the end of the day, I think we all know very well where the market did. And using the expert list, the analyst list about their grande goal, remember at that time, the market was only doing around 1482. Later I'll show you the chart. So average is 1621. And right now, where are we? If you look into the market right now, looking at FKLI as a leading indicator, we are at 1640. Okay, 1640. So we already past the 162. If you're looking at 1621 for the KLCI, that is 11.4%. Now 1640, it is actually a 12%, because 1621 is the average of all the researcher in here. You got Hong Leong 15 in here. So in this list, the lowest is MWest, which is predicting a 6%, and the highest is CGS, 20%. So right now we are at 12%. We still got 8% more to go. If you take the high one, if you take average, everyone already sampai. Semua sudah sampai already. Okay? Average in here. So you can see 1755, 1721, right? It's like tikam like that. Everybody sort of, tikam where the Bursa KLCI can go from here. And this list is also important. And again, we'll review this sometime in the distant future, right? So this was shown during the live FB. Okay, so that was on the 10th of January. At that time, the market was 1490 in here, right? The market pullback. If you see this, it is exactly happening where we have today. Today, you can see 1664. Okay, if you look at the market, ngam sini. Okay, maybe I make it smaller. Okay, this one ngam. So you can see from here, I take this one out. Okay, pull this thing again, ngam here. So you can see from here, very similar, right? This one is 1, 2, 3 bar. This was on 10th of January. Okay, 10th of January is on the left hand side. Right hand side is today. except we have a big wash, the global wash that we saw, which recover in 2 weeks. So this one also we have another wash. You can see here, this spring here was a one, these are all very classic, so pay attention. VSA trader, members, pay attention. Before the market go higher, there's always wash and it never look exactly the same. So that's important why we as VSA trader, we rely on the green pentagon. Now the green pentagon turned on the 16th of August, okay, and that was the foretell sign that the market is breaking up in here. But we, as you can see from here, this one I need to turn on the what was that I want to turn on? The sign of strength and the sign of I had it on the other one. The sign of strength, sign of weakness, but never mind. This one you can go back and turn it on because I turned it off for this one in here. Then you can see another thing you want to also pay attention is the market stages. These, what we call the horizontal line. The red line is the one where the market will come back down again. Then you see a pullback here. So generally if the market overextend itself, which is above the red line, you can see it overrun in here. When it comes to moving from the so-called below the ATR stop loss, the red bar here, that is actually a good sign. But once the market starts to turn back into the positive above the zero, green bar, that's actually moving into a stage 2, right? That's how we use mathematical representation to represent and calculate the market stages. So you can see from here, the market stages start to U-turn up in here. That was the early sign at 1608. So right now, this is still very healthy going forward. What we have seen so far, so you notice beginning of the year, and now right now we have August. It's interesting to do some comparison going into the market, and let's see, maybe in the next November, right, or December. So I will do this kind of comparison for everybody, then you're able to see. So it's important that we as VSA trader students, we want to study the chart and we know what we want to do because we want to remove the emotional stress that we talk about. So that's why we want to go to that. Okay, the Chinese New Year rally at that time in here. Now let's take a look at the seasonality. Okay, the seasonality of the KLCI, you will definitely notice. Let me just erase this. Month of September, not good one. You see that? Consistent. Down, 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 down. So our market also fearful. Then you can see here, month of July positive. Then October and December. Okay, this is where the rally is. So September, I think same thing lah. We're gonna be facing a red what? Red pullback, a red or a reduction rate. But right now we are seeing the finance has broken up, which I'll share with you later on. So who knows, right, what would happen in the coming of September. But if the market, because we still got another 10 more days, okay, maybe less than 2 weeks, the August month will close because right now is only at 1%. Now, of course, if you want to get hold of this, you can always subscribe and support us at Trade VSA using our VSA 360 in here. So you can see from here, right now is only 1% return, and if we see a bit more run, we might get slightly about 2%. And if you notice, 2% is generally the kind of month that we get, 2% here. So if you get 1 more percent, then you are likely to see September. Hopefully no big sell-off here lah. All right. So that's what I'm trying to paint this picture going forward for the remaining month of September, October, November, and December. But definitely November and December generally are bullish, and that will also in line with the November 6, 2024 presidential election. So keep that in mind. This is how you want to schedule your own trading calendar. Then you make, okay, this is where we are just now, which I talk about the Bursa. And what we want to do is really shape this into the market stages. All right. So we do the market stages in here. We do it together. Then you can see how is the market is going to be. Okay. So you can see from here. So I'll start off from here. Okay, this is where you have some sort of market here. You can see it like this, and then we have the distribution was very short. It's like a V recovery. All right, so let's make a note of this. This is a V recovery. Maybe I'll make it bigger, else you all cannot see. make it bigger for you all. Easier. Mana ni? Okay. V recovery. Okay. So this was a big V recovery. So you also notice that generally for the market stages, it's an M recovery. This one is an M recovery. This is a V recovery. So V recovery, very fast one, right? Because we are trying to fit the current market into where we are for the market stages. So from here, then we can see this. This wrong one again. Okay, delete. Better. Okay, then the market sort of rising up here. Okay, and this one we have like that. Okay, then we have this, then we have something like this one to this one. Not the best, but that's pretty much paint where the picture is. So with that V recovery, the market turn up. So we are looking to a stage 2 markup. So this is a nice stage 2 markup. And of course, the thing changes all the time, markup, okay? All right, so that's a nice picture. Take a picture of what you see in here and keep in mind the market is going down. Now, of course, in between here, you will get pullbacks. This is what we're experiencing right now. This is generally a pullback, right, on low volume, you can see. So here we were talking about the high volume, right, earlier on. We see the high volume here, the big wash. Now the market give a V recovery and then goes up. But if you look in a longer term perspective, right, our market is pretty much in a mid stage 2. Now remember what I said earlier on, the expert opinion, piecing that together. So if you believe, or at least take it with a pinch of salt, the CGS year end is 20%, right? Just now we talked about 20%, right? 20%, 20.4% return compared to last year. And right now we are 12%. So we still got 8 more percent to go. So the market will go up and pull back very, very fast. So that's where we are. But also, if you are in the VSA 360, pay attention to the foreign fund flow. The foreign fund flow is very important because the foreign fund flows, if you look back on the VSA 360, let me just share with you in here, right? Okay, which is log in again. So you can see the foreign fund flow has been positive. Okay, just top here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 7 days in a row, and that's why the market recover. Okay, but I don't like this. Whenever you get very high 575, market U-turn one. You see there? After hit high, the bugger U-turn one. So this is not a good sign. All right. You may U-turn, but U-turn a bit, then go back up. Let's hope so lah. Okay. So because this is just the current so-called forecast that we have on the foreign fund. Okay, this is something very good for investors. Now let's look at Nasdaq also. Very similar. We can do the same thing too. Oh, even can fit in nicely also. No, never mind. We erase everything. So we draw those lines. So it's important. Be a student of the market. You also draw. Again, here we also have a V recovery. Okay, then here we go up. This is a V recovery. You're enjoying this? If you're enjoying this and you're learning something new, give me a thumbs up. Yeah. Right? So let's draw this again because this is important as part of your training, to be a better trader, investor. Okay, and here you can draw the so-called stage 3 distribution. Remember this stage 3 distribution here. Okay, so what we're trying to do is use this on the top right hand side as the conceptual map. Okay, the conceptual map, then we draw where we are and the market likely to go higher from here. So this is the stage 2. Okay, so take a picture of that. 3, 2, 1, and we're going to go on to the next one, which is the Dow Jones. Okay, now Dow Jones slightly different. It has a slightly different flavor here, but nevertheless, we still draw this too. Okay, so you can see from here, this is what it did. Okay, something like that. It stick, overdrawn, and right now the market goes back up here again. Okay, so it's in stage 4, stage 1, stage 2 again. All right, of course here is also more classic. The chart is never perfect. Okay, sometimes, you know, people say, hey Martin, you draw the distribution, how come some like V, some are like snake one? It's like that one, the market, right? So in principle, what we try to share with you is at least there are some underlying, you know, a process understanding the market using volume spread analysis that you can put in and have some sort of a bearing going forward. So right now, Dow Jones is in stage 2 markup. Okay, a stage 2 markup in here. Okay, so one of the things that we want to focus right now is drilling into the KLCI sector. Now this is from our VSA 360. So you can see technology has been down 33 bars. Of course, I do think the technology will rebound, but let's focus on what we have right now, which is turning positive. We have the healthcare, we have the finance, and then we have the plantation. Okay, these are the 3 just turned green pentagon. I'm sure that many of you are still looking into the other sectors. I'm sure you all still want to look at construction, right? Construction, but construction got 26 days. Okay, then this one, construction 26 days, and also property. Okay, property, you see construction been down 8% a day. One of the biggest down. Technology also down 33%. So eventually this eventually these two will rebound one. Sure will rebound one. But right now the rotational has rotated itself to healthcare, and you know healthcare, I think last Tuesday we picked a stock, right? Because of the Mpox. So we want to see how bad or how much of the Mpox syndrome. No doubt it's not a COVID-19. There is already vaccination in here. If you check the newspaper out there, they're saying that Malaysia no need to go for vaccine. Only no cases so far, I think, in Malaysia. Maybe in those coming from Africa, there will be cases in there. But so right now we can see plantation, finance, and healthcare are generally the counter. So this is from our KLCI sector. So where do we turn to next? All right. So the favorable sector from here onwards, we switch on to our industrial screener. So our industrial screener, log in and go to the KLCI sector, right? So let's take a look at some finance stocks. Okay, we switch over to finance, submit. Okay, and we want to make sure we have this tool that is favorable to us, and we click on turnover. So here we have public bank. Okay, public bank is in 1 month it's up 8%, 6 months is up 4%. So I think public bank will pull back. CIB bank, okay, you can see public bank, all very similar to a KLCI lah. So you just mouse over in here. There are one stocks caught my attention. I think is it MBSB earlier on? Oh, MBMB, this one, BIMB, Bank Islam, for the finance stock. You can see go up. Okay, so again we apply the market stages just now I share with you. So you apply here and you can see whether these stocks can go up, because the overall sector boleh jalan. Here what you want to pick the cheapest one lah. The cheapest one is this one lah. Okay, so this one 1 bar up. If the market were to go higher, you will see MBSB also go higher. So this is one way. So what was the other sector we talked about just now? Very quickly, we go to healthcare. Okay, so we submit healthcare. We do the minus 0.5, minus 5 here. Okay, we click on the turnover, and you can see KPJ Supermax was in contention. You can see so no doubt Supermax has uptrust in here, but it did have some sort of a partial spring here. So we're going to see how well this thing do. Pharma, okay, Pharma uptrust still moving up. Optimax, right? Red Pentagon, because it's a really mixed bag. If you just want to have healthcare, you want to have rubber glove maker. Supermax are healthcare equipment. They are healthcare equipment. Okay, let's take a look at by prices. Okay, So you don't see top glove in here because by using this two filter, top glove is not in there. So Supermax is a much better and trending up right now. Okay. How about others? If you have others later on, let me know. So how about the audience? Any audience want me to look at any sector? Okay, like what we did just now, the audience. I'm just going to ask the audience now. Put it into the comment box. I'm happy to look at it yet. So while it's not out, I'll just continue with the remaining of my presentation tonight. I don't want to keep it too long. So I think the MYEG, if you want to buy YTL, okay. So what the YTL power? Okay. So first thing, if you want to look at YTL, okay, let's take a look at YTL power. So YTL is, there's a buy call here at 668. Okay, so YTL power has been down, right, which is expected, like as I said before. It's already expected. So let's let's plot the YTL power. Okay, so you can see from here YTL power caught it beautifully. The VSA 360, or if you use the Smart Roby, you pick it up very, very nicely in here. Again, now let's draw those charts here. Okay, clear them out and we will draw them. So right now you can see here, okay, we're supposed to have this, okay, here, and we have this stages. So there is a point. So if you think the market is going to go back up here, so what we need to see is a V recovery. Remember we saw the V, but right now the market is breaking down. So you want to buy or not? And look at the volume also. Right, and of course, if you have VSA 360, you want to see the market stages here. So you want to wait for the market stages to turn to gray color. But the buying is above zero here. So don't buta go and buy lah, lose money. You're like catching a falling knife. Okay, that's why I talked about earlier on. Yapi, I think Tajiro Yapi. What is your SOP? Most of the time, most people they come in, they just want to get free advice. But if the thing is, if you don't have a SOP, right, and you don't enforce yourself to discipline, chances you making money is unlikely lah. Unless the market continue to go higher and higher and higher and higher. But then what is your SOP when the market go up? Jalan 2 hari, take profit. You see my point? So it's important to have your SOP. I think in your workplace also, your boss will ask you, mana ada SOP punya? Tak ada SOP? Tak ada jalan. Okay, so very simple. Okay, let's take a look at I think gold will go higher. Okay, tonight we don't want to talk about gold. Okay, let's delete this. I hope what I say makes sense. It's still not too late to bring and make your own SOP. SOP come from trading a bit, and that's why in our VSA 360 membership we get our members to trade virtually. So from then onward they start to build their own SOP. So if you look at Genting Malaysia, I think Genting Malaysia got some issue with the the Las Vegas gaming, about money laundering and things like that. So again, you can see market pull back up here, but remember we want to pick stock that is slightly to trend up. So right now we have a sell-off here, okay, a reversal to the upside, but it hasn't gone above the zero yet. No doubt this green pentagon is generally good, but I do think the market, if you need to turn up, it has to go up like this, right? So right now with the negative news comes out, it may test back the 237, form a double bottom, and then you will see another green pentagon in here. If subsequently the next 2 days news is going to be bad, you will see another wash. That will be the final one, right? The global sell-off in here. But right now if you look at this, this is still longer cycle. You can switch to again for Yao Nga Sing. I do not know your time frame. I do not know you personally, so it's very hard to tell. If you are just trading purely on Pentagon in here, you put your stop loss at the support level, which is around 246. If you bought around here, if the market spring back up, that will be great. But I do think the market will likely to test back here again because of the overhanging of that news. So what I like now is MYEG. Okay. Okay, it's you can see a MYG, very nice. You see the difference. Okay, let me just give you a difference between MYG and Genting. We can do a comparison. All right, definitely you can see Genting is trading below 200-day moving average. That's very important. This one is hanging on, push up, and there's still some positive news in here about MYG. So again, MYG is considered as a technology. So once the technology pick up from the overall stronger sector that we see, then this thing will pull back up in here. But Genting is not. Okay, so MYG, what do I have next? IJM. Okay, IJM. Now IJM is in a very nice uptrend in here. Given the choice between Genting Malaysia, I rather go for IJM because of the strong story. Because the strong story is important, that you still have smart money supporting it. Okay, no doubt the Genting may be a wash. As I said before, you have to take that risk over longer. So right now you can see the trend is still showing downwards. You can see all these trends are showing. So you have to wait for the auto trend line, which is the market stages that you have with the VSA 360 to turn upwards. So it's important that you get one of these indicators in here. But right now you can see IJM moving above here, above zero already. Okay. Next one also very similar picture. It will be Gamunda. See, Gamunda already turned up here already. They're all above the zero line in here. And should turn green pentagon very soon. But you notice that the main difference, Gamunda, the auto trend line is up. Okay, up. This IJM auto trend line is down. Okay. So that actually helps you a bit in here. The auto trend line helps to do that. So any stocks you want me to look at, members, let me know. Okay, we got another one, Kejaya. Okay, I'm just sort of looking at the construction, some of the things that strike me as I was doing my newsletter today, and I find some of these stocks are pretty interesting, and there's some news backing with it. So this one again, similar story to IJM. Okay, you can see higher prices are rejected in here, but they are still trading above the 200-day moving average. Alright, so some of the lessons I've learned from my Sifu, I think I've shared this before. The methodology that we use to study all this chart is from father of volume spread analysis, Mr. Tom Williams in here. Talks about the supply of demand and supply and demand. Looking into the market forces, we use the VSA market stages to attempt to look in it and looking at the volume too. And right now we have codified into the market stages that some of my students are already using it. And do take note, members, our CV3 will end on the 7th of September. We will begin our CV4 on the 7th of September until next year, March 2025, for our next virtual trading for our VSA 360. Now again, the US presidential election is here. Right, take note of it. It's still will continue to be bullish. So in summary, we'll talk about summary in here. My humble prediction, many have realized, because every year I'm still looking at the very positive year. Back to previous year, I've talked about where every time when we have a big fall, a global sell-off in 1 year, which is year 2022, subsequent 2 to 3 years will be positive, including 2024, 2023, and major part of 2025 too. All right, Bursa KLCI has room to go higher. As I said before, if you look into one of the analysts, up 20%, we still got another 8% to go. Right? Do you have a good portfolio or trading strategy for the balanced month, which is also important? What is your SOP? I hope that you'll go back and do some reflection, take a mirror look at yourself. Are there SOP? Okay. If no SOP, just draft out a few lines, test it out with it. Right? It's better than no SOP at all. So what would be your challenges so far? What have you done the last 6 months? Have you started your investing and trading adventure already using the framework that we are providing in the Smart Robi in here, trading based on the green pentagon and exiting on red pentagon or some target profit or using some sort of support and resistance? All right? Trade well, live well with smarter trading. That's all we can say. Do your own SOP in here, and I'm sure believe in here. And of course, some of you wanted to move higher you can always join the VSA 360. Now, Mayfern asks, is Nestle a good buy for dividend? Of course, you can buy it for a dividend, but there are better shares that have more growth than Nestle. If you look back at Nestle's share, they've been pretty stagnant for many years. Okay, and if you don't mind, then that's okay lah. You can see it's still going down. Okay, you switch to a weekly chart. So if you look at this is classic. I want to share with you. So you buy Nestle for dividend. How much is Nestle dividend 1 year? Okay, Nestle dividend is 2.5%. Okay, 2.5%. Then next you go to the year-to-date return. Okay, don't go back 2018. Too far away. You go back to 2021. Loss. Only 2022 make money, 6%. Down 13%. This year also lost 12%. You see my point or not? So a very simple trading view indicator. Now, how much is the dividend? 2%, right? And this one is loss every year. And of course, if you say it's a long term, you got to hold. If you're going to trade, why trade 128 and get in here? There are much better stocks than this one. Try Uchitech. Okay? Yeah, Uchitech. You look at Uchitech, see the difference. Okay, let's take a look at dividend. How much is dividend Uchitech? 7%. Already beat Nestle already. How much is Nestle? $103. Uchitech is $380. Okay, then let's look back at the previous year. How many years? Go back to 2021. 2021 down 2%, up 29%, up 8%, up 21%. See, it speaks for itself lah. Okay. All right. So Mayfern, who is our member, I hope I answer your question. For Norisha Hussein, we will do it at another time. Okay. My time is up. Unfortunately, I always say I treat my VSA 360 members because they are supporting our channel as a supporting a membership, and I do. Many of you will join our VSA 360 membership in here through our program. I believe that you will build your own SOP through our weekly and coaching, and now I'm happy to review your own SOP. All right, so that's all we have for tonight. Don't forget to join our Telegram chat room, and I do hope tonight I've given you some guideline how the market's going forward in here. I think it's just a matter of time you draft and build your own little small SOP, a couple of lines, good enough, and then you test it in there. All right, with that, good night, happy trading.